Yeah.
All yours.
Okay, welcome to the Topsham Community Center Committee meeting on May 8th. It's 6 o'clock, and we're going to get started with call to order at 6:06. And we have members present with the exception of Erica and Roger. And Steve is going to take minutes today. And we have two Harriman associates here with us. So we'll add Will and, sorry, I don't have that in front of me.
Tom Emery.
And Tom to the guests present. And the agenda, which we had previously seen, I just rearranged the sequence of it so that we could see if there's any changes to this agenda for starters. Maybe a thumbs up on that. All right, I see one thumbs up.
Yeah.
Sorry, with Zoom, it's hard. And you okay with the minutes?
Well, we were just going to have a report from Erica, but she may be logging in. She maybe hasn't yet.
Oh, I thought she was not able to come today.
Oh, she could come. She had to come by Zoom. She couldn't be in person.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So we can add that if she does
Did
come.
she change?
Okay.
No. Can you add to the agenda that Mark and I met with Six Rivers again 2
Great.
weeks ago? And you can add that to the agenda at some point. An update.
Okay. And then report from Erica.
Yeah, on the Google Docs.
I have this on the Google, so on Google Docs. Okay. Okay, great. So we thought we would start with the progress report from Harriman, just to see how it all went in the last time period that we haven't seen you. So
Great,
you want to
thank
take it away?
you.
Mhm.
Sure, thanks. So Tom and I are here to do a report back and do a little workshopping for to get some clarification on the facilities that you currently have. And so on April 7th, Pam toured us through, well, all over town.
Well, most of
was-
the town's facilities to give you.
So we had a really great tour of the facilities you have, or at least saw, kind of, it was a windshield tour. We got out a couple times, but at any rate, so we've pulled this document together that represents the what we saw, and then we have a table that we want to kind of workshop with you to fill in anecdotally how things are used, and we'll combine the two for our next meeting to talk about the needs. And so we're hoping, we heard Pam's point of view, but we'd like to get everyone's point of view as well, and really fill in. So we did, in saying, with Pam's tour, we got a ton of information, which was,
I did the historical tour.
yeah.
That's how I did it.
And so we, just starting off with a map of the whole town, and we have tags which we'll pop the graphics on a little bit of all the locations. But in general, we just have snippets of each location, and then we're populating what the community use is. Yeah, in the location. So starting off here at the municipal office building, and we're just identifying, that the recreation department office is here, the meeting rooms, especially downstairs, I'm sure are used, by the community. And
I'm just gonna move
Okay.
over here.
You don't want us staring at your.
It's not, that's not, it's just. I grew up with a large family, and anyone lurking behind me makes me nervous.
Especially with Steve being there.
I'm fine now, thanks.
And we haven't drilled into the details here, but just in general, we're describing the school facilities as being used by the community for indoor facilities as well as fields. And so we've got the high school, we've got the middle school, and and the adjacent fields around. We also on the tour talked to Pam about the woods that are to the north of that varsity baseball field. We're curious who owns it and maybe what the potential is if we were thinking about.
That belongs to the company that just purchased. Does it
I
not?
think it's the other way around. I think it's the company that sold the Helios Group that did Brunswick Landing, kept
Okay.
the chunk that was Liberty Circle.
Which is that area we were in.
Okay,
I think it's maybe 6 acres or something that they kept.
okay. But in the off chance the town owned it, we wanted to just, identify it as a potential because it had adjacency to the school and to existing fields. So that question is answered. It's not town. Town
Oh, I
parcel.
knew that part.
Yeah, or who exactly knew, who exactly owns it. So is it Liberty Group, did you say?
Helios.
Helios.
Yeah, I think they have a different name for that piece, but it's the group that has been redeveloping Brunswick Landing.
Okay. So name of the parcel north.
I can get you the exact name. But I can
Okay.
get it to you.
Great. And then the last location facility or real kind of big facility location with adjacent fields is Woodside's Elementary, and we understood that that's actually used quite a bit during summers. And again, we can kind of work through each of these locations. We went in and through the library, had a good tour of the whole library, and it's an amazing facility. And then we included the field here because of the pavilion, because it is technically a structure and can be utilized as well. We have a lot more identification of outdoor spaces, but for the purpose of gaining program information, we wanted to focus on the buildings and kind of where you thought some of the highlights and the values of those buildings were. So
Will, one quick question. Do you include the building that's at the transfer station where you have the winter shop and so forth? Is that included in the facilities, or is that just something that you happen to use as another department?
Well, it's located at solid waste facility. It was built and given to our department years ago. What is known as the Blue Prisoners Building. So. I don't know if we really want to put it on.
what would you name it other than the Blue Prisoners?
Blue storage unit, storage building.
Where is that, Pam?
Down at the solid waste facility, if you go around the circle and
Yeah.
as you're right in front of where compost and that is.
Yeah.
If you were to go to the right, like you're headed out to
Oh.
the ponds, up on the hill is a blue garage building there, and that's where all of our storage is for the winter.
Oh, interesting. Is that where the pallets are? The wood pallets?
It's beyond the pallets. You go
Oh,
past the
okay.
pallets and there's a little
I
hill
didn't
that
know.
goes
Okay.
up the incline there.
Okay. Take a
So-
left, take a right at the tree, right? Take a right at the birch tree.
And the other table below is we started to populate some of the sports that we had gotten the flyers, and we scanned some of that information. We're trying to build in the information of who's using what, and based on all the findings we get, we'll create a graphic similar to this that we showed you that we had done for.
Do you
for
limit it to
Wyndham.
sports? Or there's some of the other programs?
No, it's not limited to sports. It'll be, and really, this is, this has indoor and outdoor, but it would be.
I don't think you have
helpful.
the special events there yet. Those were at the
Yeah.
bottom of that
Yeah.
chart that I gave you.
Okay, so we need to include special. events. And yeah, actually, we should probably actually develop 2 of these to show. Have an indoor one and an outdoor one, and because they're somewhat independent of one another, but showing where all the or the extent of indoor requirements for the recreation department is supporting is going to be good. So at the high school, what spaces are used by the community?
The gymnasiums,
Our elections there. Yeah.
right?
Two
The
gyms?
Which is the
Forum?
elections. Yeah, so
The fo-
gymnasium for elections, and our winter basketballs run through there. Our Sunday open gyms are there. Our wrestling is there. So that gets used a lot.
And then as Ian mentioned, we do voting. in the-
Yeah,
And
basketball, wrestling. We do our Valentine dance in the cafeteria there.
Is there anything that happens in the forum?
We've
Um,
had some community meetings there.
Yeah,
Are there any Mary meeting classes that meet there?
there are, but I think this is this our programming you're looking for right now, Will? Or is it,
Any
yeah, I
program?
mean, it's,
I just wanna,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, really, your program and also community-based programming. And so if there was,
there is an adult ed program. And they're changing their name tomorrow night, community education. And they do run a number of programs. They have a adult exercise class that is in the auxiliary gym seasonally when there's space. I know they do lots of GED work.
But they're associated with the school.
Yeah,
So
they're
it's
not
nothing we
associated
arrange
with
for space
Topsham.
Or need to ask space for.
Yeah,
oh, so it's not,
It's not a town program.
But still being used by the community is what he's getting at, so you want.
But they already have facilities, is that, are we?
The
looking-
Yeah, I mean,
Mary's, the adult community
so we're determining the need of a community center, of an actual facility to support everything, all the programs. And so,
I would say that they're safe to be, they would stay in the school system, they
okay,
wouldn't
so
join us.
yeah. So we can take the adult ed out.
Wouldn't you
Okay.
say?
Yeah, I would say that.
Anything else in the auxiliary gym?
There's lots of fundraisers that go on in the gym and
Fundraiser?
Yeah,
The big gym or the
Both.
auxiliary gym?
Both.
Okay.
and adult volleyball. Open gyms.
did they do the prom there this past time?
No, they're actually, I think they went down to Portland.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure it was a.
It was in Lewiston.
Was it?
Lewiston. Yeah,
What was the name of the
it was
building?
an old church. I don't know. We
Yeah,
weren't a part
that's
of
why
it,
I
but
thought it may have been in Portland, okay.
yeah.
Under the forum, we have community meetings.
Community.
We use it. to take
Is there any
pictures.
theater or art that happens at the high school?
Not through us. There is
What-
theater that happens at the Orion Center. The
Okay, I
forum
was
is, really-
thinking-
yeah, the forum is really not used in that manner. All of the performances is done at Orion.
Do the Boy Scouts use any locations? They probably use the
They use the American Legion.
American
Yeah.
Legion, right?
And,
Okay,
and the boys and the Cub Scouts do the elementary schools. They're back into
Okay.
them this year.
okay.
There was a train show there recently as well.
At the high
In
school?
High school?
Yeah.
It's also used like,
Which
There's a
is probably would
crafters
fall
guild,
fall
the
under
Southern-
fundraiser,
yeah.
I guess.
yeah,
So like special events, a train show.
yeah.
There was
Was that this weekend?
2 weekends
How
ago.
about craft shows? That's a community
Yes,
thing. I
Southern
see.
Maine craft shows,
Yeah.
happen there in November. And I think it's safe to say they've almost outgrown that school.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, they were in the forum. They were in a number of places.
So they use.
Anything else that happens at the fields? I'm trying to think anything else. That's the
Well,
field is.
he's going by each location right now, so if we were looking at the high school, we
That's what I was
use
thinking,
their-
the turf
yeah,
field.
outdoor, yeah, we use their turf field, we use the turf field, we use the practice field. We use the track.
Is it rented by anybody else though? Is there any
Not
ever?
through- But not through
No,
us.
but Mary Meeting uses it
Yeah.
as well, so the turf field does get rented out.
Is the
I hate
Orion
to, I hate
Center,
to backtrack, but under the craft skills and special events, are those, and talking about facilities, are those channeled through community services?
No, they go through the school
through the
directly.
School. So
They
that,
rent they rent the facility. There's a flooring, just like for elections, that goes down, and they pay for the rental of that.
so would those still be items that would need to be accommodated in the new
build?
facility?
No, we wouldn't be looking to build a building for that.
No,
Okay.
Well, I mean. If the event fits, why wouldn't we?
If
Want
it
to
doesn't fit the
accommodate?
school, it's not gonna fit in what we build probably.
Fair enough, but if it's fitting into the school currently, then it could fit the future center,
I think only if it was gonna give us revenue.
obviously.
on the turf field, we have track, we have. We use it on occasion for soccer. Both club and recreation soccer, you may want to put that in there. We use it for lacrosse. Especially when the fields are too wet. We use it for track and field.
Field hockey?
Field hockey clinics. And field hockey is a 3-season sport there, summer, spring, and fall. So
And by extension, are you using high school lockers and showers?
no,
Not even the lockers?
No.
Okay.
no.
How
It
many
was just-
seasons is track and field?
Track and field would really only be summer. Do you see Erica coming in there or anything? Anybody?
Nope.
Roger?
We had,
No. Okay.
Lacrosse is spring.
Lacrosse would be spring, soccer is spring and fall.
Roger says he's unable to log in.
Churches use it as well. Couple times a year,
High school? Or the
because they have
middle
6
school?
hoops, yeah.
Oh,
they-
that's true.
They do a camp twice a
They
year.
do a camp, that's true.
It's obnoxious.
And
Does
Yeah.
Special Olympics use it at all?
Yeah, Unified used it this year.
But that's
That
a
was a school
school
event,
team,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
that's pretty, that's highly utilized.
The softball diamond at the high school, we do use on occasion. If we have too many teams, we are allowed to use that after high school games are over.
And you're gonna start a pickleball program, right?
That's going on our basketball court.
What? There's only one basketball court, there's plenty of tennis courts.
There's no pickleball lines on the tennis courts because the tennis coach would not let that happen.
So then we have to build another basketball court.
Okay. Put it on the list.
So it's basically an overflow field for you, for rec.
All the
Used to
pickleballers want
have
to take
to-
that up and no kids can play basketball now.
It's gonna be assigned time
Hmm.
so that it doesn't do that.
After school.
So is youth basketball. I love pickleball, believe me.
Any of the other,
Facilities at the high school. I think that pretty much covers it.
great. And then, so you said that the forum was for like photography, like group pictures?
We
and
used it to
things,
do
or-
team pictures, yeah.
And what's the largest event, the one that would take up the most space in terms of?
Is it different
Oh,
space wise?
well, yeah, but I think as far as we're concerned, I would say basketball, we use 3 gyms on Saturday mornings for 8 weeks for 4 hours, or for 5 hours, 8 to 12, 4 hours,
How many gyms?
3 courts.
For 4 hours?
For 4 hours on Saturday mornings for 8 weeks.
I'm thinking about WOW shows. We have a group called Woodside One Wheelers, and I know they usually practice at Woodside, but I know they did a show at the high school. Is that more than once a year or no?
I think it's in the spring when they're fundraising.
Okay.
Woodside Wheelers.
Or it can be added to gymnasium use under programs, whatever. Woodside One Wheelers, WOW as they call it. Wow.
And what do they do?
They're unicyclists.
Yes.
They travel all over.
Actually, what, in the inaugural parade, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Makes sense with the one. All right.
And the forum seats up to 200, so if we have a community meeting that needs more space, then downstairs seats like 50 or 60 maybe. So if we have a meeting that needs more than 60, we'll use the forum. If it's not otherwise booked.
The school board meetings happen there every 2 weeks.
Mm.
That can draw a crowd sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So we don't have to supply space for the school board, that's a
Yes.
school function.
And, okay, just trying to get a sense of kind of
Use,
size and
yeah.
magnitude and frequency of use.
I think the other time is open gyms on Sunday. We use the high school and we use that from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock, so for 5 hours. And that starts in November generally and goes through the end of March. And we have it on Sunday afternoons. We have a variety. We have open gym. We have an adult group of volleyball players who still want to play.
But there's not great consistency in any of these things because
We get bumped out every
because
so often.
it is also high school, so
Right.
the high school uses it. That's the
Yeah.
largest user group of the high school.
Their
Yeah.
scheduling drives.
Yeah, well, they have 25 teams that use it all year round, so
There's a lot of coordinating between the AD and our office.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate that his kids are in our program, have come through our program, so he has a sensitivity to our needs.
but there's also a lot of groups that want to use it more, but can't because it's not available.
Like AAU.
AAU for basketball, for volleyball, for pickleball. I mean, all sorts of things are popping up that need gymnasium space.
Think we should do that in the indoors in the gym.
Yeah, and the auxiliary gym.
I have portable nets,
Yeah, I think that would be,
but it's not lined, is it?
I mean, there's lines everywhere.
I know.
Could be lined.
I know in Bodenham, in their gym, in the elementary school gym, they put down painter's tape.
Mm.
And
For
they have,
pickleball?
they have marks and you just, when the people
It
come in,
actually
they just,
stays down a long
they
time.
actually put
Hmm.
it down and then take it up when they leave.
Pickleball would be a community activity, AAU basketball would not, would it?
Well, it could be. I mean, for us, it's a feeder program for the AAUs. It's all kids within this MSAD
And they
75.
would rent the space from,
Currently, that's how we do it. Yeah, but we get bumped for everything. So if there's anything that has to go inside, we get bumped.
So in the list of this agreement with the school district, it is school activities first, recreation department second, and then anything else comes after that. I believe the agreement is still that your team has to have a certain percentage of district kids to
Correct.
play in the gym
Yeah,
or use
75,
the gym with
yeah.
no cost,
35%.
75%.
Is Erica in?
I've tried to promote her, so. we'll see.
But I will say that you also get bumped for fundraising. So even though you're technically second, if
If
they
it's a
have a
school
train show,
fundraiser.
then open gym's canceled. So
Yeah.
the kids have nothing to do.
Gotcha.
Because they make money off the rental.
Yes. And that's only an open gym that we have once a week for 2
Yeah.
hours. And there's still no consistency, sadly.
Looks like Erica should be in that.
And is that,
She's down there, yeah.
yeah, how many times do you get bumped, like is it,
This year wasn't too many. but at
No,
least 2
probably about
times.
3
Yeah,
times. We lose it for
First
the crafts
team.
fair. We lose it for the mattress sale.
yep,
And we would lose it for a fundraiser, for instance, there's a class that did a silent auction and that type of thing. And I think we lost it for that.
and we lost it. Oh, are you talking about the class? Yeah,
Yeah.
we got one for
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
and does the town have to pay any additional fees other than
No.
what you already paid to the district?
No,
my son's high school is doing a mattress sales.
it amazes me.
I had not heard about that before.
Can we take 2 seconds? Could you explain to me, because there's signs all over Cape Elizabeth every year, how does that work?
So there's a company that comes in that gets factory seconds from major dealers or major mattress companies. And comes in and brings them and sells them at a discounted rate. And the proceeds of it go to whatever group, I think what was it here? It was the choir or something like that. It was the chorus. Music department or something that
Yeah, it was
did
the
it
band,
here.
yeah.
In Brunswick, it was something else, but it happens generally once or twice a year.
And it's successful.
I'd say they probably make $3,000 to $5,000 for a day.
Every time I see the signs, I just wonder, who needs the mattress?
I think the company gets them at little to nothing
Yeah.
because they're seconds and
And so
so,
rolled up now too. It's pretty wild.
Huh.
In a little box like that. It's crazy.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt, but.
no, but
just-
All right, so we can at least, kind of nail this down for the high school. We can tweak and update as we move forward. So if we could switch over to the middle school.
Do you consider Orion part of that facility?
Yeah, middle school,
Orion would be the theater
middle school.
at the middle school.
Is it in the middle school or is it?
Attached.
Attached.
Okay.
It's a
We have-
900 seat theater.
Musical productions, theater.
Is it 9 or 6?
We also have
I thought it was 9.
town meetings in there.
9's a lot.
They told you 6?
I thought it's on the website, it's 6.
That's
Hmm.
big.
I guess I remember doing the Bob Marley fundraiser there for class, but I'll check it.
Part of that. But we've been having town meeting there as one of the purposes. but we use it for-
So that's why you know the size. Okay, I thought it was 9, but I won't say that I'm correct.
I would believe either way. 9 or 6. It's called 7:50.
So at Mount Airy High School, we also use the gymnasium, for athletic basketball programs, practices. Much of the same type of stuff at the middle school.
Okay,
It says it's 700 seats, but 900 in the extended setup.
See,
Oh,
I think I've just been around too long.
so 700 typical.
700
900
seats or
max.
900 in extended setup.
That means sitting on the stage too.
Probably taking the stage.
Yeah.
there's folding
Balconies.
doors up in the back that open up.
Yeah,
What about Midcoast Youth Theater? Do they use the Orion? Do they?
they do.
A lot of people use Orion.
Both the high school and middle school do their performances there.
Right, I'm just thinking outside of the school, who else uses it?
I believe that Midcoast Theater uses Brunswick, but they've used Bath. I think they rotate between the 3 towns.
Okay,
I know that I saw the Midcoast Theater production in December in Bath. I saw the most recent one this weekend in Brunswick, but I have seen one in Topsham. So I think they rotate through. Midcoast is a youth theater group that promotes.
the symphony was there too.
That's true.
They do the symphony there.
Which.
And I was
Are
gonna
they
say,
from Portland? Sorry, hi Erica.
hi,
So-
I know that there's a couple local dance studios that use it for their end of year dance performances. So,
There's a band room there that the Mary Meeting Community Band has used some for rehearsals before COVID.
Does anybody use the kitchens back over in the teaching area there now?
No,
Mary Meeting's one word.
Oh, sorry.
do you play an instrument?
I do.
I thought so.
What do you play?
Depends on what we need, but usually baritone or trombone, sometimes trumpet.
Interesting.
Oh, he's very talented.
I didn't know. I used to play
He
the clarinet.
sings. We
I
can't
played-
have a
I
birthday
played
party
the trumpet
without
till the
Mark.
air started coming out my ears. and I shut about that.
As I get older, the bigger mouthpiece of the baritone is much better.
We actually do town meeting in the Orion Center.
I got that.
That's
You
up
did
there.
have it, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
see
it's
it.
good.
Yeah.
It's good. I'd rather get a
Um,
choice and make sure we got it.
But yeah, they do rent it out for a variety of events.
All the
I don't
awards
think
ceremony.
summer school is important, right? It used to be at the middle school, now it's at the high school. That's a school-based activity.
Yeah, and they wouldn't be looking for space from us, I don't think.
Yeah.
Under Mount Ararat Middle School, the gymnasium, there we use quite a lot.
For. you said
Basketball.
Basketball, you said it was similar to what you use the.
There's
High
one
school.
court there, so we use it for practices and skill programs
Okay.
and games. And we primarily use that school on Saturdays. If we host the league the travel league that we belong in, we have that gym from like 8 in the morning till 6 at night. But that's probably only twice a year, 3 times at most. For the 8 hours. Generally, it's 3 to 4. On Saturdays and probably another 4 to 6 on weeknights. After all the middle school teams are completed practicing. We get the bottom of the barrel at 7:30, 7 or 7:30. Unless there's a game and when the game's over, we get it. Right?
Mhm.
So for 3 hours starting at 7:30, so you're,
So on Saturdays, we typically use it for 3 hours.
yeah,
4 to 6 hours of practice time on weeknights. And it tends to be anytime after 6 o'clock
gotcha. So it's
or last
late,
on the, yeah.
Um,
It's also used pretty much daily for about 20 weeks of the year for AAU practices with girls and boys.
At that late spot, or.
Anytime it's open, but
Yeah.
literally 5 days a week for about 20 weeks. And also fundraisers for basketball as well on game days on the weekends.
so it's fundraisers too. All right, so,
We typically use Saturdays for 3 hours, and that's, I would say it's 12 weeks of the year.
great. Is that winter?
November to April.
So the same basic timetable
Mhm.
frame as the.
Yeah. Kind of,
The open gym.
we run the 5th and 6th grade, and the first through 6th grade programs on Saturdays run at the high school. The 7th and 8th grade programs run at the middle school, because that's middle schoolers. But we do use the practice time for any team that needs it there in the after hours. Primarily, it's a 5th or a 6th grade team that would be in there.
In the middle school.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a question if I may. Yeah, I look at the list ahead of us and I wonder if it might be possible to prioritize the ones that the group can be helpful with. And maybe so many of these, like I think about Forsyth Rec Center, those kind of things that Pam can definitely fill in thoroughly. Do you wanna, is there any thought, any response to that? I just noticed the time is 6:45, 6:43, so.
No, sounds.
And one
It's
thing,
just-
Tom, that I will say folks have done in the past is we have put this as a Google document up
Yeah.
on our Google Drive. And then most people, if they're reminded, go in and can put it in and share their information.
Okay.
Agreed.
Do they have summer programs there, like summer school programs, science clubs or groups
Um,
or camps?
we run summer camps at the high school. We didn't put that, I didn't give that to you. Sorry.
Yeah. I remember you saying summer programs at Woodside. Is that?
Mm, no, we use the high school in the summer, in the gymnasium.
Oh, that's the gym. it's
Yeah,
just-
for the basketball program. Clinics, we're doing a volleyball skills clinic there. And we use the turf in the summer for soccer and field hockey clinics. We have summer field hockey, summer soccer. And, did you get volleyball up in the gym? Cause that's a new one this
I have
year,
volleyball,
summer
yeah.
camps. Okay, just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great. But Leslie, it's a good point about just, being mindful of time, focusing on the kind of the bigger pieces that the whole group can chime in on. Is Woodside School similar in nature, or is it more?
Woodside and Williams Cone. Have Williams Cone on there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Woodside and Williams Cone are both used for practices, weeknights, anytime from 5 to 8.
And that's inside and the.
Yeah, and Saturday mornings for games during basketball season. And Williams Cone has a women's volleyball group that runs from October until May.
And when is, you said this is for basketball?
Yeah, primarily November to February. For that.
Is Girl Scouts still using Williams Cone? Sorry, I'm on to Williams Cone.
Yeah, but I think they use, well, actually, Erica, you're
Yeah.
more knowledge
Yeah.
than I am on that.
So I know that Girl Scouts uses Woodside.
Okay, I think they do Williams cones sometimes, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know, like, I just know Evelyn's troop uses Woodside. But there was a long time with the pandemic that Girl Scouts wasn't allowed in the school. And so I think they found other places. So like I know Jocelyn's troop uses the Presbyterian church.
Mm.
So I'm
Right.
not sure.
And someone said Boy Scouts as well, use the elementary school?
Cub Scouts.
The lead.
I mean, Cub Scouts, yeah.
The Boy
Yeah,
Scouts.
right.
There's only one Boy Scout troop.
Last I knew, the Cub Scouts were in the Legion too.
Were
Oh, are they in the Legion
Yeah.
now?
It used to be Woodside.
That, or it could be different pack. That's probably what it is. I think the pack that was associated with the church was at Woodside, and the pack that associated with the Legion was at the Legion. And then the Legion pack, I think, went to Bunk.
Swear they
Do
had
they still
tan
have
shirts
den
on.
leaders?
10 leaders then out. probably.
Yeah.
The pack. a
They
different
meet at the
pack.
leaders' houses?
No,
No.
Yeah, that was always the way we did it.
public.
Yeah.
It now has gotten to the
Different
point that
hat
it's
each week.
public.
Yeah.
Public spaces. I think that's how the Boy Scouts got in trouble.
Yeah, there was definitely some. Stop there.
Thank you.
So I was just gonna say the Boy Scouts would have gone on to the American Legion, but
As well.
And so it's the pack and the troop, they're,
Yeah.
Boy Scout,
they just had an Eagle Scout ceremony this week.
and so there are multiple packs and we're using the school.
I don't
Yeah,
think
there
so.
used to be 2 packs in town. and One was at the school and one was at the Legion. The one's now defunct, the pack that was at the Legion. So there's just a troop there.
Oh, okay, all right, so the Cub Scout packs at the school.
Mhm.
And what do they have for facilities inside
The American Legion?
Yeah.
They have a dance hall or a, table. You know, they could do most of the time they use it for weddings and that type of thing, hall rental.
Probably what capacity of 150.
It's
Yeah,
like an open room.
yeah. And then they have a bar in the basement,
And they have a kitchen that some of the groups will use.
right?
Bean supper.
I've never been down in the basement.
Mary Meeting Soccer Club also uses their fields.
Right.
The
As-
Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, since you're on it.
So the history of the American Legion is, and I think I told you guys this when we were driving. The American Legion, actually, the property that it is on belonged to the poor farm that was on Forsyth, which was where the rec fields are. And we have a deed that happened back in the 50s where the town sold that plot of land for $1 to the American Legion, with the understanding that as long as it stayed in use, it was, and that they used it in the appropriate manners for Legion activities and community-minded events, that it would be theirs. But should it cease to support itself and survive, then the title of the land would come back to the town.
Gotcha.
Pretty close.
They also, I heard that the Friday group, yes.
And so the soccer is what group?
Mirror Meeting
Mary-
Soccer
Mary Meeting,
again,
thank
yeah.
you.
It's the local club and they use a lot of, they use our fields as long as they have a roster that is 50% Topsham. And then they're in the district, they're allowed to use our fields.
Oh, I didn't know. That's good. Sorry.
Oh, I don't have any problem with Merry Meeting. They work very cooperative and they handle, they'll line fields for us, they work with us, they communicate. I mean, Heather, their president, and I text each other regularly. We're both trying to figure out a schedule at the high school on the turf for the Sundays for lacrosse and soccer and field hockey. And Jeff just kind of said, you guys work it out and then give me the paperwork. So we work very cooperative.
Excellent. What about the library?
In all honesty, we have sponsored outdoor movies there. But the library pretty much does their own programming. I think Susan kind of shared most of that when we visited.
We didn't know if there was any kind of
Occasionally.
direct overlap.
Occasionally, community meetings, we have a, like
more
a
space.
planning department would expect 100 people out or something, we'll use their community room.
In that overhead picture, I saw a baseball field there.
That's the American Legion. The library?
Showing the gazebo and there was a big triangle next to it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe.
Saw what I saw.
We do co-sponsor a couple of programs a year with the library. We have Santa reads. And Santa comes and reads and sings with the children and they all get to tell him their wishes. And then we also do a fishing rally, which is the first weekend in June. And the library rents fishing poles and our solid waste facility, the ponds, we stock, and the three of us all work together on that day. Which incidentally is infested with ticks. Awful this year.
So what was Santa Reads and
Santa Reads is a project where Santa comes and visits with preschoolers and
Is there another Santa thing? It
no,
was
that's,
just- okay.
yeah, Santa Reads.
What about the
And,
big truck day?
That is a public event, yep,
That's theirs and we just participate.
right.
I see. I was thinking about Foreside Rec Center. No, sorry. Fairgrounds, the plant sale. Right, isn't that where the Brunswick, is it Brunswick Topsham Land Trust? Plant sale? Sorry, I'm
I
jumping.
believe
but-
no, I think it is, it's that weekend too, it's June 3rd.
Brunswick Topsham Land Trust is BTLT,
Yeah,
plant
But-
sale. So that's
yeah.
gotta be a rented thing.
no, they donate it, just like they
Oh.
work with us for the Halloween trick-or-treat-a-thon there.
Oh, okay.
and
and-
that's at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, and then the Topsham Garden Club takes whatever they don't sell and comes here and sells it the following week.
Kind of like a mattress sale. Like that.
All right, any other, really community-driven events, especially.
Well, at the transfer
indoors?
station, you have the fishing rally, we have the pump track there.
Yeah.
Pump park, we have 7 miles of mountain biking trails,
Yeah,
and we have the skills area.
right, and we have the trail, we have a whole document that we're building on the
Yeah.
trails, and it's
Yeah.
it's wonderful how extensive it is, there's a lot to do, so,
We just rebuilt the pump track this last weekend.
oh, wow, okay.
Really, again?
Well, you have to go in seasonally and rebuild it and reinforce it to hold
Cool.
especially after all the rain and everything we
Yeah.
got in the last 2
What's
weeks.
Pinewood Drive on it for? Or you have to-
I think Pinewood Drive and the boat ramp are the same. I think,
Okay.
okay, that's, you could access it. And I provided you guys with the map that was at the select
Yeah.
board meeting last week in the perspective of that, but
Actually, the entrance is probably gonna be from our fields, so probably you're
Which
better
is
off
what they
putting
have,
boat
yeah.
ramp rather than, you'd almost maybe take up.
Oh, okay, okay.
emergency access there.
Erica just messaged me that she had to leave and we can follow up with her.
Okay, thank you. And I did provide you with that document, with what it would look like, and after talking with the selectmen last week, but we got an estimate of around $675,000 to build and do it,
For the boat ramp.
to build the road, the ramp,
Parking.
the parking.
All right.
I don't know what that is.
Tom, could you share that with them just for a second? And we're in the middle of a water access grant. That's what it is.
Oh.
And so for Woodside,
Right here.
the scouts use that year round.
Pretty much so, I believe.
Yeah. Oh. looks like we can get to it.
There is a before and after school care that happens there that is run through. Leslie, what's the name of that? Is it
Family Focus.
Family Focus? Okay.
And the Woodside One Wheelers have a summer camp, but that's all school.
They do a week camp
Here
in
somewhere.
February as well.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
like that's-
Yeah,
Family focus at the middle elementary school.
yeah, at Woodside, and it's before and after school care.
Oh, this is so interesting.
And they house the kids from, I
Yes.
think they still house the kids from Williamscone and transport them back and forth, if I'm
realize that.
correct.
We walked all the way.
Not that
down
I
to
know of.
No,
Not, I think maybe in the summer, they expand in the summer.
okay,
parking
And
here.
so that's all year.
it is, and they have a daycare there.
Is it out of the gym, out of the cafeteria?
I think it's
both?
out of all that
Okay.
area and use of backfields as well.
There is a path now around the back of Woodside School, which might be used, I don't know if that has any bearing on anything, but just that might be used by the community at times. So. It's a relatively new trail.
It would say.
Has Fox cameras and things. Very cool. I work there, just so you guys know.
Excellent. Great. Well, this is really helpful just to get these items populated, and we'll break this down in a more easier to read way with the times of year, and get your feedback. And then our next meeting is intended to really deal with the need itself, and to understand what the actual need is. So we will come with all this synthesized as data to really talk about, well, what are these programs, and where if there was a facility, how much of the year would it, be required, the different spaces, and then we'll look at the different types of programs to try to plug in, if you had a 600-person room or a gym or a 200-person room, what types of activities that you've listed here, would fit into a facility, and how many of them would you need, and then we can kind of game out the whole thing. And I'm sure not everything would need to fit, but it sounds like there's a lot of pressure on the schools right now.
Another use, I forget, at the fairgrounds is the Brunswick Area Youth Football League. The fairgrounds let them put a football field at the back of it.
Oh, that's
think you
right.
guys
It's
did that.
the practice field. Yes.
It's actually a game field too.
Yeah,
I want to add that I feel like we've talked a lot about athletics, but in our, when we talked about the stakeholders, we really worked hard to think about the outside community supports, like the churches and things like that. Is there anything that people can think of now that would be helpful in that way, or the arts and music and things like that?
I think that what we need to do is share the files with Will and Tom. The
Okay,
Google Drive document. I
Okay.
think that would be helpful for them, and the practice football field, it's also game, it's youth game, so it's
Oh,
Bayful,
right,
so just to
sorry.
make sure, that's okay, just to make sure.
So
It's Mark's baby, he created that field, he was president when that was built.
Right, in the tour, yeah, you were given credit for the
Well, it was a
scoreboards
good
and.
public-private
Yeah,
partnership.
yeah.
We got all the parents of the league to donate heavy equipment and construction skills, and so it was built with absolutely no public money.
So it's
That's
it's
awesome.
the youth football.
Yeah.
So it's
who should be
fair.
responsible for sharing that document? You want me to see if
And actually
have it?
under. I do, if you want me to, I'm happy to, I don't know what the access is, is the access open to everybody?
It's open to all committee,
Okay.
because we've all been filling in.
And, well, I would, under the fairgrounds as well, we do the Halloween trick or treat-a-thon there.
Okay.
in the fair,
That's right.
Topsom Fair.
That's huge.
For a
That's
while, it was
huge.
until the new high school was built.
Is the fair a separate association?
Yeah.
Yes.
Saginaw Agricultural Society.
That's who sponsors the Dobson Fair.
Yeah, that's what
And then,
their official name is. And you can spell
I know, I was just impressed
That's-
myself.
I went to Camp Chewonki.
it. That was one of the,
There's actually the legal name is Saginaw Agricultural and Horticultural
Cultural Society.
Don't they do a horse and tack show there every year too?
They do lots of things. They rent it. They, they do car shows. They do, They store-
Coins.
store vehicles there in the winter time. They do coin sales. They have the, well, not any longer. That's where it used to be.
Oh,
Now we're all at the
that's true,
school.
yeah.
Yeah.
They also store boats there all winter.
Yeah.
For people.
We came through the fairgrounds on our ride.
We did, all right,
I feel like
great,
we
this
need
is,
more.
I can fill the recreation field stuff for you. That shouldn't be a problem. You pretty much have it right below you with all of the programs there.
yeah, no, we just need to kind of get it all
Yeah.
all formatted. And so, yeah, we had
Do
a
you want me to
little
share
bit of
access to that document?
technological
Maybe
disaster
that would be
before the
great.
meeting.
Thank you, Ann. Ann's gonna share access with the two of you
Okay.
for
I'm just
the
gonna
Google
give you an
Drive.
email address.
Pam,
I
did
just
they
was
still-
thinking, go ahead.
just a quick question. Do they still rent the pavilion out on the Forsyth field?
Forsyth Field, we don't.
Yeah, for
rent
birthday
it. We
parties?
sign it out for birthday parties to residents. So
Okay,
you can reserve it and you can come in and take a key out. And reserve it. You have to have an account with us to do it so that we can track you and we know where you live and we can come get your key. But we don't charge, although that is something we've thought about more seriously in recent years.
What is this for?
The pavilion at the rec
Yeah.
field, we book birthday parties there and small family gatherings when there's not an athletic event going on there.
I was just thinking about the golf club at the Highland Green. Is there anything that happens there? Like, at the Brunswick Golf Course, they've got events that happen in their space, but I wouldn't think anything happens there down there, right?
So the Highland Green course was just taken over by Brunswick Golf Course. They're opening June 1st. Alan Greenleaf, who's the groundskeeper at Brunswick is working on it up here. Tom designed that. See, I took people, see, I.
Tom and the DEP.
Tom and the DEP. And it will be opening June 1st. The
Wow.
building that exists there, the kitchen or the drink, the restaurant is actually is going to be run by Troy Kavanaugh and his partner, who's the former police chief of Auburn or Lewiston. And it's going to be called O'Hara's.
I was gonna say,
Similar-
is it Pedro O'Hara's? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, similar to what they had in Brunswick, but hoping that that will be a success there.
Oh,
This
that's
is-
awesome.
The public course and pub.
Oh, that's great. Nice.
I think if anybody can make it work there, it's someone who kind of is established in the area, hopefully with connections.
People will be happy to have that place back. Or
Well,
similar,
they've
you
tried
know.
they've tried several restaurants there, but they have not succeeded.
Yep. Yep, no, that's perfect.
Tom, any other?
No, I think that's good. Do any members of the town, Public Works is located, part of Public Works is located up in that area. Do they use any of the facilities? Do they use the restaurants or the golf course?
No,
Okay.
use the golf course for your golf class, right?
We actually use Brunswick Golf Course
Oh, really?
currently, yeah. The former high school coach is our, we actually have a adult class starting Thursday night at Brunswick Golf Course, but we have run them up there before we had the relationship we have with Brunswick. The Kavanaughs are people from Topsham who have gotten into Brunswick Golf Course, and the coach of a baseball league that we have in town is the manager of the golf course over there. He went to school for golf courses, and his father is the restaurateur. Is that a good way to put it?
And Brunswick has a practice facility, does it not? A driving
Golf
range?
course?
Yeah,
They don't have a driving range, they have a putting green.
but they don't have a,
Yeah, I don't think they have a driving.
I know
driving.
Highland Green does.
No.
On the
Um,
base, you can putt, you can,
Near Point
Yeah.
has a
Yeah.
driving range.
Highland Green was going to have one. They were gonna take that barn and move it farther down the road and have a practice range and a weed golf course, but that.
Now they're putting solar panels in there, right?
On
Want
the
to.
highway side of it.
On the highway
Can't be
side,
for-
yeah.
Can we?
I have a
attach
question about, okay.
To the community center?
What's that?
Can we attach a driving range to the community center? That
Sure,
would've been a great
Steve.
idea, I'm not gonna lie. Talk about.
Mini
recovery.
golf, that's what we need.
Yes.
Well, I
Golf.
will say that there is a lot of talk on Facebook, if you watch the programs and different things that the local departments are doing. There's a lot of talk of disappointment in the bowling alleys, both converting,
Mhm.
one going away completely and the other one turning into cornhole. And the lack of areas like the putt golf that went out at Cook's Corner, and the driving range, that there just are not family centered types of things. The closest bowling alley is actually in Portland now.
Hmm.
There's nothing local, and there is a mini golf course, lo and behold, at the desert of Maine.
Yeah, but everybody drives all the way to Auburn,
I know,
literally all 45 minutes to go to mini golf.
but there's a great course at Desert of Maine that nobody knows just opened last year.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
We worked on that one too. We did.
There's
the
one opening in
design
Richmond,
plan.
too.
Hired a company from Arizona.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Yes, it's a great idea. Well, you get
Um,
every year.
I was, I stopped in the Tanis Golf Course on my way back to China Lake yesterday to hit a small bucket. And the place was mobbed. I asked them if there was an event or a tournament. They said, no, sun's coming.
36 holes.
Yeah, but
A former town manager was a member up there.
But the big difference is that since COVID, people are now back into golf at the same time all the courses are closing and the practice facilities and the mini golfs, it's too bad.
It's because of the, you need something to do in the winter in these places to pay the bills.
So you mentioned seniors,
Mhm.
meeting seniors' needs. Are there, so what are the programs for seniors that are indoor, that require spaces?
There is People Plus in Brunswick that is a member oriented.
No, I think he means if you had senior programs.
Oh, if
What-
we were to have them?
Like would be
Yes.
morning walking or.
Right. I think walking would most definitely be having a
Indoor track.
indoor track of some type. I think a kitchen that you could provide meals and services with. I think just social types of programs of any. And intergenerational as well, I
Like
think
line
is,
dancing, that kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Community barbecue.
Well, actually, we're gonna do that at the high school this summer. I have that in my, after I did my Valentine dance, I looked out on the grass and that fun. No adult beverages, huh? Can't do it here either.
And you can there.
Well,
You know, what used to be nice is the picnic grounds at the base. That was a pretty good place. You could do, had a big area with the, over tables and things, and you could do barbecues there, and didn't really matter if it rained and stuff. You could have 100 people in places that.
I think meeting space for the community.
And what type of need isn't being met by the.
I feel
room
the
down
businesses
here,
in
the
Topsom would like a
forum?
place that they could, we get calls several times a year for this building. And we don't particularly open it up for those kind of things unless they're a nonprofit. But they're always looking for a place to do trainings and have, events.
Events, I mean, there's nothing. Brunswick barely has anything too. They have more.
Yeah, pretty much the golf course is the biggest event center.
Yeah, it's packed all year.
Yeah.
I mean, the Brunswick Station Restaurant, they have that extra hall that gets utilized a lot.
At the, where?
Where?
The Inn at Brunswick Station.
Oh, okay, right. I thought you were talking where Scarlett's and that stuff was. I was like, really?
Yeah, the hotel right next door.
Yeah.
The Legion gets used quite a bit, actually.
Captain Daniel Stone, that's right over the bridge. I mean, that gets utilized. It's crazy. There's really no events. Always been like that.
I need to go in Ben's building too.
100%.
Used to be the atrium would see. what,
The atrium did well,
300 or
yeah.
so, 350, and the New Meadows Inn used to
You're
do.
dating yourself,
150 to
guys.
200.
Well, my wife told me about it. I never was there.
I was around for the atrium.
Although I might have jumped off the second floor back into the pool. I
Possible.
guess I was there.
What else do you need from
This is
us?
great. This is a good, it gives us some good momentum and
A lot of the local, excuse me, I'm sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
a lot of the local senior places, they have nightly events as well, like cribbage night and card night and all those things where they usually get quite a big crowd.
And I
say
think
this
they
because I
like
did a
it.
wine tasting at a place once and I had 100 people there in Brunswick at I forget what that was called, but
People Plus just had a major auction and fundraiser.
Mhm.
They have language classes there, groups for learning languages. They have table tennis and art classes, all kinds of stuff like that. It's
I'm
not
sorry,
always
Steve.
at
Oh, go
the
ahead.
People Plus, the senior center.
Steve, you're saying so these senior centers, the senior venues are
they have like theme nights.
even, yeah.
They have a lot of lunches too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Where is the senior center?
It's in Brunswick. It's called People.
Oh.
It's on Union Street. And it's called
Sorry,
People Plus
what do you
because
define as senior
the
center?
lower portion of it is a senior center and the above portion
It's
is a
kids center.
youth, yeah, it's a youth center.
What's the one over there up there above? That's.
Just because you asked me,
Which one?
the old
Up there above.
hospital, next to the old hospital.
Ooh,
I mean, that's a
Um,
healthcare.
No, but to the
Yes.
right of it out back.
Don't know.
Yes.
Yes, or no, that's where I did it. It was crazy.
Mhm.
It's great.
But they primarily do it for their residents.
But there's senior centers pop or health, whatever you, I don't know what you want to call them, but they're popping up everywhere.
Right.
And they're all full.
Right.
Because my grandfather-in-law was just looking everywhere and he couldn't get into anything within 30 miles of Brunswick and Topsham.
Wow.
All right.
Doesn't Birmingham have a senior group and
I don't know the answer to
Richmond?
that.
I think Birmingham and Richmond will have senior groups.
Yeah,
Meet in their public facilities.
yeah, the recreation director, the new recreation director in Bodenham, part of his job description is
To do seniors.
to do senior.
I know they have like
yeah.
fall protection
Yeah.
classes
Yeah.
and things like that.
All right, good. Well, we could just keep at this forever, but.
I know.
We'll pause for right now, and I think originally we talked about. Is it the 18th?
The 16th, Tuesday at 6 PM is what was agreed upon last meeting.
Um,
And you're gonna have time to go in,
I
go,
don't think in a week we're gonna be able to pull
Okay.
enough together to make it worth your time. The 23rd.
I'm out of town that week.
We also have, the town meeting warrant night that week.
That night.
To give people information coming forward.
What about the 30th?
30th.
Town meeting
That's
is town meeting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's also the Monday is 20 is the Memorial Day. So that's
Memorial.
what you're asking.
Yeah. And Tuesday we can do, I wouldn't know, you typically meet on Tuesdays.
We.
Oh, no.
No. Oh, really?
Usually Monday.
Yeah, we can
We
be
can do
flexible on meeting day.
June 5th?
I'm gone the week of the 22nd and we're kind of caught, that week is kind of busy as it is with going into the holiday. The 5th or the 12th of June. Or do you guys want to move to a Tuesday?
5th is good, 6th is good for me.
Either one is good for me.
Did you guys talk about May 30th?
It's a Memorial Day.
That is town meeting
Oh.
day.
Town meeting, right, okay. Okay, yeah, I know the 29th is Memorial Day. Okay, how about the 5th?
I'm fine either day, 5th or 6th.
So this room is booked from 5:30 to 7, but downstairs is open, so we can be downstairs for that one.
On the 5th,
Great.
same time, 6 PM.
This is part of the minutes, right?
Next meeting.
I've done all right.
You can do it.
I got a whole,
And you didn't even complain.
I held it in.
Well,
There's a
thank
lot
you.
more
June.
important things
How about
going
the
on
rest of
than
your-
complain about taking notes.
Yes, that's right.
Actually, if you have a couple minutes,
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah.
might be worthwhile sitting in for the quick update on the meeting with the Six Rivers.
Oh, yes, great.
Let's use the boards.
About 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
We got a call and Mark and I met with Will Patterson, who is the president of Six Rivers. And 2 of their board members. They are the facility that is just north of the high school. You go over 295 and off on your right. Yeah, the bubble.
Yep.
Did we go in there? I don't think I showed you that. Well, the bubble has fallen. It fell during the winter. And what was the Roller World? We toured it back, Lynn, Steve and myself. Did anyone else? I think it was the three of us. Toured the facility with the Six Rivers organization. But they have already raised $1.5 million. And they are getting ready to start the design of their ice rink. And they have had a huge response and income from the dome falling. I know our department rented, a couple hours a week from them for indoor lacrosse. And they're continuing to, they raised the ceiling, they netted everything, and it have the turf down. So they have rented it out at $95 an hour, which is affordable compared to other places. But they are about to begin the design and start putting things together for the actual facility. They do have some other possibilities for land acquisition. So before they do the final design for the rink and what they want to build there, they're looking at other possibilities to acquire more land. So they asked if they could meet with us just to find out what our interests and where we were headed. So they'd like at some point, I think, to come back once they're a little more sure of what they've acquired or what they have for potential, and get in touch with us.
That's promising.
Yeah, if you remember the facility, when you drive in, there's what was the Roller World to your left. The front of that now is the athletic trainer, physical therapy place. And there's an empty house that housed the organizational structure of the dome. And then there is the dome. It's really unfortunate because, as they said to us, if the people who own the land where the dome is would just take the dome off of there, they could have rented it out as turf this spring. It would have been ready before fields.
Wow, that's true.
But didn't have the wherewithal to do that. So, they just wanted to make us aware of where they're at and would like that conversation to stay open.
Yeah.
Other details you can
So
think of.
basically, is when you get to the point you're looking for possible partners, they're definitely someone that likes to be talked to.
Yeah.
Do they have all the
Great.
parking there?
They do.
There's only about 3 acres available over there off Atwood.
Yeah, I think one issue might be whether there's enough size, but that's why we hired you guys.
Right, I think there's some wetland there too, so I'm not positive.
But before they construct their ice rink, they really want to look at the possibilities, because they might move it to a different place and use the land differently than they are currently.
Great spot.
And the ice rink is going to be a pavilion type, like the one in Town.
Open air.
So seasonal.
It's kind of interesting because up north, I have friends in Holton that have a facility, and they have a cement floor, and all they do is open the ends and just spray water, and it turns into an ice rink.
No,
And down here, that's just like an unfathomable, idea. but
They talked about utilizing it
for other
in the
events.
off season
Yep.
too, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the open air is not a pavilion, it's just totally.
It would be
Oh,
covered, it would
Oh,
be
would
covered,
okay,
yeah. It would be covered and refrigeration, but I believe they're looking at some sort of system to overlay so that they can use the space underneath in the off season.
Nice.
That's great. That's good of them to keep us in the loop.
Yeah, and the potential partnership opportunities and
That's important.
it might, things like that, if they're thinking, big scale, and there's an opportunity for you to come in at a medium or a smaller scale and fit a need and that they, there's some.
I think they'd like to talk with you guys. I don't think they're ready to talk with you yet, is my sense of it. Was that your sense?
Although they probably will be by the time you guys get to that stage.
Right. Yeah.
Can you tell me more? So they're also considering other land?
They're looking at possibilities of what they could do up there, Leslie, and what's available and,
Around that space?
yeah.
Okay, not an alternate land, but anything around there. Okay. Okay,
When Seacoast United was there, and as they explained it to us, when they purchased their side of the they purchased Roller World in the area where the rink was out back on
Yes.
behind there. They kind of split it down through the middle, so they have that area.
okay. Okay, great. Shall we proceed with the rest of the meeting? Is that okay?
Sure.
So
Okay.
as far, go ahead.
Anything more? I just want to check to make
Yeah.
sure that they don't have to stay if there's anything more you need.
Quietly slip away.
Just send me a note if you
Okay.
need anything.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so
I
we'll get the
believe
Google
Ann was
Doc.
gonna give you
Yeah.
the access to the Google Docs.
Wonderful. All right, well, thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you. See you in June.
Good.
So, yeah. The minutes were shared by, I think it was last month was Lynn, and she attached the Harriman minutes. And my thought is just to sort of cut and paste some of that, and Ann and I spoke today, just cut and paste some of that, so that's really reflective exactly what we need to share with the community. Is that, are people
Lynn
okay with that?
actually did a job of that and sent it tonight. I made copies and shared it with folks that are here. Did you see it in your email?
I
Thank
did, but
Donna.
you know, thank you. But it has things like, you know, how we introduced ourselves. You know, things like that, that I just think then there was a section further down that started a little more details of our conversation, the meat of our conversation. I don't know if we need to be that particular, but we talked about, Ann and I talked about just kind of pulling that together a little bit. So it's not all of the information, you know, but and maybe you and I can work on that and just go back and forth on that document, if that's okay.
Which one?
She
The
was
one-
out
I
of
was
the
in the
room.
restroom.
Oh, sorry. That we were talking about how the minutes that Lynn did and the Harriman attachment
Right.
has more information in it than we might need to share with the community because it's details about how we introduced ourselves, you know, things like that. If we want to fine tune that and tighten it up a little bit, I think that would be good.
Okay.
But
Sure, that sounds great.
so that would be the minutes, number 5, review of minutes from March 27th. Anything else from those minutes? Anybody? No. We'll present them at the next meeting then, once we fine tune that. Okay.
Sure.
Lynn, I think you have a lot on your plate right now with a pending
I have
event. So
graduation May 20th and then a wedding May 28th.
how about Ann and I take a look at that?
Go for it. You know, like I
okay.
said, it was just a draft, so.
Exactly. And then Steve, remind me, January 23rd minutes.
Yeah, you guys kind of sprung the minutes on me that night, and that was the night that we interviewed the 3 potential
Vendors, yeah.
vendors. And I was going to watch the minutes on a computer, which I don't own any longer, but they're also not on the website. So Anne has
Okay.
offered to put notes together because she took some handwritten notes
I have about 7
Okay.
pages of handwritten notes.
from that night.
I think those could really be very brief.
Yeah, I can
Just say
just.
interview these 3 companies.
I'll put
You
those
want to be
together
careful
for our
with too
next
much
meeting.
information there.
I can put those
I
together.
did have a half a page written.
All right, Ann, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, and then Erica had to bow out, so we'll listen to her information next time.
I
And-
did see
Yeah.
your note here about team vacancy, and as the meeting was starting, send an email to Kim Price, who was the individual who was interested in joining, to just find out if she is or not, so then we can move along.
Okay, great.
I forgot
Great.
about it, I have to admit.
Okay. Anything else?
I did ask Roger Soroy if he was interested and he politely declined.
He also has a lot going on. Okay. Anything else? Okay, meeting adjourned, 7:31. We did it. That's great.
Good job.
And brought what? Oh, the
You do
sign.
that?
I did.